The following program is brought to you by the Midas Gold Group.
This is the Gold Standard from the Midas Gold Group with Kenneth Russo. Hello, I'm Dave Deno. Welcome to the Gold Standard, your source for secure investment advice and information on the advantages of purchasing and owning precious metals. Whether you're a novice investor or an experienced collector, this is the program that gives you a realistic weekly perspective on the state of the economy, reliable information about using precious metals such as gold, silver, and platinum to safeguard your wealth, and remarkable details about specific precious metal coins and bullion. Ken Russo is a senior vice president at the Midas Gold Group. His peers characterize him as a straight shooter who will work harder for you than anyone else. Ken, it's always good to be with you. Glad to be back with you again this week.
Absolutely, Dave. Very happy and privileged to be here today.
I saw a headline today that said, while the economy rebounds, inflation rose again. That's not good news, is it?
No, but I mean, you'll see every pundit that comes on television, everybody that works for the Federal Reserve Bank just saying that it's temporary, it's transitory, prices are going to go back down. Prices are not going to go back down, not in the long run. We had a client that came in last week who's been going to the same restaurant for years. She's always had a $12 salad. Now the salad costs $15. There's no way in the world, she said, that she's ever going to go back to that restaurant, Dave, and that salad will ever be $12 again. Prices will continue to rise.
I think that's a good perspective on the whole issue of inflation and others, so-called experts, claiming that prices will back down again. I don't think we've ever seen a price hike that ever backed down again. I remember in the state of California when prices rose during the last drought many years ago, they raised prices on water to kind of try to get people to use less. They said it was only temporary. I never saw the rate go back down.
Well, when they took the dollar off the gold standard in 1972, they said it was temporary, and we're still, 50 years later, the dollar's still backed by nothing. But it's all rhetoric. The dollar will always buy less in the future, and they're just going to print more of it. Prices and purchasing power are not going to change. They're going to continue to go up, and the purchasing power is going to continue to become less.
Ken, in previous programs, we have talked about the danger of the huge deficit created by our government and its impact on the value of the dollar. It is a truly scary scenario. But there's another issue looming on the horizon, the possibility of a cashless society. Our topic on the table today is financial freedom and financial privacy, a cashless society. I've heard the term fiat money. What is a fiat currency system?
Well, it's the kind of currency system that we have today, paper currencies that are allowed to float against one another in value, the dollar being one of those. The dollar not backed by anything. At one time, Dave, paper money used to be backed by commodities, a physical commodity like gold and silver. Now the only thing that backs the dollar is debt and a promise to pay from the government. It's an enormous debt. It's an unfixable debt. It's a fiat currency system, that experiment that started in 1972, being debased, devalued, and basically in its last stages and failing.
And I remember, and I've mentioned this before, growing up and seeing on our money the term silver certificate. And of course, that is gone now because our money is no longer backed up by precious metal, right?
No, not backed up by anything at all. And what's very concerning to a lot of our clients is the safety even of their money. Not to mention that it's a horrible product that just buys less and less and less. But the safety of their money at the bank, in the markets, at their financial advisor firm is very concerning. People are very concerned not only with the falling dollar, Dave, but they're also concerned about the safety of their money and the privacy of their money.
You're listening to the Gold Standard with Ken Russo from Midas Gold Group. So seeing the falling value of the dollar then, What is being proposed to stabilize it?
Well, they can propose whatever they want, but I mean the damage has already been done and is only going to get worse. The dollar buys less year over year. They're printing more money than they ever have in history. The printing has gone exponential, which means that we now have exponential risk, and everybody's doing it all around the world. We've never seen this before. This is a global money printing experiment that's just spiraling into the abyss. And it's up to us to protect whatever we can while we can, because Dave, the hourglass is tipped and the time is running out.
I hear that the government and the banking system actually may be thinking of a digital wallet. In fact, a senator, a Democratic senator, Sherrod Brown of Ohio, introduced a Senate bill number 3571 back on March 23rd of 2020. And the bill requires Federal Reserve member banks to provide what's called digital pass-through accounts to residents and citizens and businesses domiciled in the United States. What does that mean?
Well, it's scary, whatever it means. I mean, yeah, I mean, do you feel comfortable with having all of your money at the bank? I know I sure don't.
I think the term is digital wallet, right? Aren't they trying, that's what they're kind of experimenting with idea-wise?
Yeah, I mean, basically knowing all of our business. I mean, this is supposed to be the United States of America and not China. And a digital wallet just basically means that every transaction could be traced easily. It means that the entities that be want to know all of our business. We are Americans. We are patriots. We should have financial freedoms. We should have financial privacies to some degree, and those are basically gone. I mean, the Fed is basically creating a cashless society. Our financial freedoms, which are diminishing by the day, with a digital wallet, with some sort of tracing, would basically be completely gone. And we're not that far away from that, Dave.
We're talking with Ken Russo from the Midas Gold Group, and you are listening to the Gold Standard program. I saw, according to James Clark at the Midas Gold Group, Ken, every transaction, he said every transaction, if we were looking at a digital monetary system, every transaction would be linked to a digital wallet, and this would mark the end of any financial privacy?
Well, it's the end of any financial system as we know it. It's almost similar to totalitarian practices of China. It's just not what it's supposed to be. This is supposed to be sound money. Where are the principles of sound money? Where are the understanding of a good foundation of money? To figure out our money is impossible. Fiat money is just basically too complex. We're just supposed to have a strong currency that we can trust, something that we could rely on. And basically that seems to be disappearing and a thing of the past, and it's gone.
As I listen to you, Ken, it really kind of scares me. Well, more than kind of, it really does scare me. So my question is, does gold and silver really offer an alternative?
Absolutely. It always has. It offers control, it offers diversification. And as you know, Dave, we've been suggesting to our clients for a long time who are very concerned about this and have been for a long time to protect a part of your nest egg. And the way that you do that is you take a little bit of your money out of the bank, take some of your investments out of the markets, get some money out of paper, get it in your own control, move your IRA. And the easiest way to do that is to learn how to diversify in physical gold and silver coins and bars. And it's very important that people understand and realize how to do that today before it's too late.
Later in our time together, we're going to look at the dangers of digital currency. First, though, in a moment, we'll have our featured precious metal product of the week. And I want you to know that you are listening to the Gold Standard, brought to you by the Midas Gold Group.
Sebastian Gorka here. The Biden-Harris administration is governing through an unprecedented number of executive orders. We have a good idea of what their agenda means for the country and for your finances. More debt, more regulations, slower growth, and higher taxes. There's even talk of a digital wallet currency and a so-called Great Reset. With massive new spending programs, the Fed is printing money even faster than before. This will will likely cause the dollar to fall and gold prices to rise. That's why it's never been more important to own physical gold and silver. And the dealer I trust to do business with is veteran-owned Midas Gold Group. The experts at Midas Gold can even help you convert a portion of your IRA into physical gold and silver to stabilize your portfolio against the coming storm. Call Midas Gold Group for their guide to owning bullion and coins today. 855-322-GOLD. That's 855-322-4653 or MidasGoldGroup.com.
And we're back with more of the Gold Standard, brought to you by the Midas Gold Group with Ken Russo. If you live in the Los Angeles or Phoenix area, we encourage you to visit our local office to meet with us in person. For the address and directions, just log on to our website, MidasGoldGroup.com. That's MidasGoldGroup.com. You'll find more than the address there. You'll find a lot of very helpful information as well. For those of you listening in other cities, call us directly at 855-322-GOLD. 855-322-GOLD. By the numbers, that's 855-322-4653. Now, Ken, I always love this portion of the program. I get very excited about this. Our featured precious metal product today is the Silver American Eagle. You really like this, don't you?
Well, the world likes it and always has. It's a great coin. And don't forget, Dave, everything we're talking about today is how to protect our financial freedom. Basically, some of our amendments, like the Fourth Amendment, are being violated. It's an invasion of our privacy. Information gathering out there off of the internet, basically available for sale to the highest bidder. And how do we protect our privacy? How do we protect our purchasing power? And one of those products that can do that is the Silver American Eagle. It was introduced in 1986. It's a 1 ounce silver coin from the U.S. Mint. The purity of the silver, Dave, is 99.9% pure.
Wow.
The Silver Eagle comes in tubes of 20. So basically, when you get a tube, it's a white container with a green lid, 20 coins. Frequently, you'll see people say, I bought a monster box of Silver American Eagles. A monster box is 500 coins. So basically 25 tubes, 20 coins per tube. It's a beautiful coin. It's a large coin, meaning that the diameter is fairly large, larger than some of the other silver coins. It's a mainstay. It's a great coin. And it could be, the most beautiful silver coin that I've ever seen, and one of the best silver coins that's on the market today for sure.
Can you give us maybe a little more sense of its history?
Well, it came out in 1986. They make millions of them every year. 1999 seems to be the year where it's the most rare, and the 1999 Silver American Eagle seems to be the most valuable of the line. But you have the Canadian Silver Maple Leaf, you have the Silver South African Cougarand, you have the Australian Kangaroo, Austrian Philharmonic. These are all what you would call bullion coins. Most of the time when people say bullion, they think that you mean either an ingot or a bar. But in this particular instance, it's a bullion coin. And don't forget, back in 1972, we were talking about before, was kind of the start of the Fiat experiment when President Richard Nixon took us off the gold standard, and then the dollar was backed by nothing except debt and a promise to pay debt that's unfixable. And people were looking for different ways to protect themselves. And you had a lot of these government mints that were then allowed to produce bullion coins, and the Silver American Eagle is probably one of the best and one of the most popular ways to do that.
We are aware that the federal government, other government entities, have the opportunity and the right and the ability to look into our financial doings. They can look into our bank account. They can look into our salaries. They can even look into our bills if they want to. How private is it to be able to own precious metals?
Well, it's one of the last ways to have any privacy and control for some money and some funds that you can take out of the banking system. Basically everything else out there, whether it be a stock account, a CD, a money market, an IRA, a banking account, any type of annuity, it's all traceable. I mean, everything is out there. It's almost after, as if the powers to be have their hand on a computer key, and they're just waiting to press it, and it's scary. Um, these systems are vulnerable. Cyber terrorism, ransomware attacks, EMPs, electrical grid reliance. It's not smart, Dave, in this day and age, to have all of your money and all of your nest egg reliant on paper and reliant on those things. You have to have something that's outside of the system. Silver and gold is an easy way to do that. People need to understand that right now.
I have found in my personal life that when I accumulate some money, I come into some money, and other people find out that I have that money, they seem to come up with reasons to take some of that money from me, to get some of it from me. I don't
Yeah, well,
like.
it's only going to get worse, Dave. I mean, look at all of the talk about the increase in taxes, the increase in financial security. There is no financial freedom, inflation, tax increases worldwide. I mean, this is front and center. So the writing's on the wall. It's up to people not to go down with the ship, but it's up to them to do some things to protect what they can and diversify. That's what we're talking about today. That's why it's so important that people educate themselves on this, call in and start the conversation about how to diversify and how to protect not only your savings, but protect your financial freedoms.
And we're going to tell you in just a moment about how you can call in and get more information. Coming up in a moment, we're going to talk specifically about how to invest in gold, silver, and other precious metals in light of a digital monetary system. And I want you to know that you are listening to the Gold Standard, brought to you by the Midas Gold Group.
I'm here with Midas Gold Group senior trader and Marine Corps veteran James Clark. James, why are people investing in gold and silver?
Well, Dr. Gorka, the Federal Reserve supplies money to pay for congressional spending. As Congress expands spending, the Fed has no choice but to keep printing money at an accelerated rate. This causes the dollar to fall and gold to increase.
So as the Fed and Congress devalue the dollar, what can people do?
As the nation's #1 veteran-owned precious metals dealer, we offer diversification strategies in the form of precious metals. As Congress looks to the Fed for more money, investors look to gold and silver to protect their nest egg.
And I recommend that you look to Midas Gold Group for all your precious metal needs. Call Midas Gold Group for their guide to owning bullion and coins today. 855-322-GOLD. That's 855-322-4653 or MidasGoldGroup.com.
You're listening to The Gold Standard, brought to you by the Midas Gold Group with Ken Russo. By the way, if you live in the Los Angeles or Phoenix area, we encourage you to come and visit our local office to meet with us in person. For the address and the directions, just log on to our website, MidasGoldGroup.com. You'll find a lot more than just the address there. You'll find a lot of very helpful information. Again, that's MidasGoldGroup.com. And for those of you listening in other cities, just call us directly at 855-322-GOLD, 855-322-GOLD. And by the numbers, that's 855-322-4653. Now, so far today, we have talked about financial freedom and financial privacy, a cashless society, and we've highlighted a very popular silver coin, the Silver American Eagle. Now, Ken, let's turn our attention back to the issue of a digital monetary system. What are the dangers of digital money?
Yeah, and let's keep it simple. Every transaction can be traced easily. Okay. The Fed is creating a cashless society. So that means that everything is basically a digit on a ledger. Our privacy is non-existent. Everything is out there for everyone to see, available to the highest bidder. It's a system where social scoring is important, who's being ranked according to what. It should not be that everything you have, Dave, is out there for everyone to see, whoever wants to see it. That should not be the case. This is the United States of America, or at least the last time I checked. It's not China, and we need to have some sort of financial privacy. And the question is it's up to us to protect our nest egg to do that. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to diversify with some gold and silver. They're still very much undervalued, we feel, and it's time before it's too late.
You alluded to this earlier, and I want to expand on it for just a moment. The Fourth Amendment of the Bill of Rights says we have the right to privacy. In other words, the government does not have the right to intrude into our life, to spy on our life. That was a very real concern back when our Constitution was formed and when the Bill of Rights was added into it after the fact. Yet many people say that today there's no Fourth Amendment for us anymore. We no longer have the right to privacy. I mean, not only does the government have the right to look into our financial dealings, anything you do on the internet is then recorded somewhere by someone, some entity, and oftentimes sold out there so that businesses know exactly what you buy, what your lifestyle is like, where you go. I mean, we have lost our right to privacy, haven't we?
Absolutely. I mean, and I'm not an attorney, but it definitely feels like a violation of my rights. I mean, people don't realize, Dave, when you deposit your money at the bank, it basically becomes the property of the bank.
Mm.
And when we do create a paper trail online, or at the bank through a digital wallet, it is an invasion of our privacy. I mean, information is gathered all the time off the internet. It's facts for everyone to see. Anybody who wants to pay for it, it's very simple, and it's only going to get worse. I mean, this is not going to all of a sudden improve. So you got to do whatever you can to diversify and protect what you can now. It's only going to get more complex. The violations of our privacy are only going to get more and more and more. I don't see it ending at all, and it's an unfortunate event.
So maybe in the last few moments that we have together today, you can give us maybe a sort of a 1, 2, 3 on how we can protect ourselves by diversifying in gold and silver, how we actually go about doing that, particularly with the help of you and the folks at Midas Gold Group.
Yeah, our pleasure, and it's what we do every day. The first thing I would do is make a phone call Midas Gold Group, and start a conversation about your particular situation. Second thing is we will send you some literature, a bullion guide, gives you a little background on gold and silver products that you may look at to diversify. And the third thing we'll do is come up with a plan. We'll make some proposals. We'll give you some ideas on what you may want to consider. Stuff that you could hold yourself, stuff that you can preserve and put away for you and your kids and your future generations, your nest egg, your legacy, something that's not going to be in paper. So, it all starts with a phone call. It all starts with some initiative and some urgency to protect a small portion of your nest egg. And there's no better time than now. They say, Dave, that the best time to have bought gold was 20 years ago. And the second best time to buy gold is today. It's not too late to start. Gold is still very undervalued, and there's a very good case that gold and silver in the next few years could be substantially higher than where we are today to reflect all of this debasement of our paper money.
I love the idea of gold you can hold. And that's going to bring us to the end of our time together today here on The Gold Standard, brought to you by the Midas Gold Group. Now, a reminder, advice given here is not intended to be specific to your investment strategy, but rather general information to give you a better understanding of investing in precious metals. For answers to your questions, call the Midas Gold Group at 855-322-GOLD, 855-322-GOLD. By the numbers, that's 855-322-4653. And the website is MidasGoldGroup.com. I encourage you to log on, take a look. You'll find a wealth of information. And yes, the pun is intended. That's the Midas Gold Group, or I should say, MidasGoldGroup.com. The Midas Gold Group is proud to be America's #1 veteran-owned gold dealer, supporting veterans' causes with a portion of profits donated to the Wounded Warriors Project and to the Semper Fi Fund. So your investment in your future is also an investment in the future of those who have bravely served the cause of freedom. Again, the number to call to speak directly with the Midas Gold Group is 855-322-GOLD. That's 855-322-GOLD. 888-322-GOLD. And we invite you again to join us next week at the same time for another edition of The Gold Standard.
The Gold Standard was brought to you by the Midas Gold Group.